Streets don't love nobody. Gotta find a new route to make it out, man, cause streets don't love nobody. Used to think it was all good, but I found out the hard way.
So my name is Weston. I connected with Alex a few months ago with my nonprofit that I run. And I just thank you guys for welcoming me over here and allowing me to talk to you guys for a little bit. I feel like it's a family over here. So I appreciate you guys letting me in for a little bit. I guess I just planned on talking a little bit about my history and my disability, and then just a little synopsis of my life that leads us to today. But I was born with a disability called Spinal Muscular Atrophy, or SMA, they call it. It's a type of muscular dystrophy, if anyone's ever heard of that. The most popular or common muscular dystrophy disease is called Duchenne's. So some of you might have heard of Duchenne's muscular dystrophy before, but they're all neuromuscular diseases that affect muscle tone. So basically, my brain is unable to communicate with my muscles and basically build muscle or be able to move a lot of my muscles. So I have very little motor skills or motion. But back then, when I was born in 1999, there was no cure. It was basically like a progressively degenerative disease. So I was diagnosed when I was around 8 months old. And that's when my parents first noticed that I wasn't reaching certain milestones that I should be as a baby. So they decided to take me to a doctor, and that's when they found that I had SMA. And they basically told my parents that I wouldn't make it past my first birthday. So I was 8 months old, and they were basically told just take me home and give me as much love as they could, and just wait around for the inevitable, I guess, because over 90% of people born with my disability back then passed away before the age of 1. So obviously, the doctors were wrong in that case, and I'm still here today. But it's thankfully the past 5 years, there's been a lot of developments in cures and treatments for my disease. I'm actually on medication now that I take every single day that is a liquid, and it basically is to help regenerate some of the muscle function, or at least keep me at the same level that I'm at now, so I don't get any worse. But there even is testing now for babies that are born, so you can get tested for SMA in the womb and actually be diagnosed and treated with a new gene therapy that came out a couple of years ago. So basically, people are pretty much unaffected nowadays that are born with my disability, which is so wonderful that they can discover these things and treat them and stuff early so that it doesn't get to the point that it got to me. But yeah, I ended up getting my first power wheelchair when I was actually 2 years old. It's pretty crazy that they let a 2-year-old boy drive around in a powered motorized vehicle. Let's just say there's a lot of dings and dents in the house that I used to live in from banging in the walls, and just the learning curve and freedom and independence that you get with a power wheelchair at the age of 2. And it's crazy that, so my first power chair was when I was 2, and I got my second one when I was 4 because of obviously like my size growth and difference with growing up and getting bigger and outgrowing the first one. And my insurance company actually denied my second power wheelchair because they thought I wasn't old enough or qualified enough to have one, which is kind of ironic because they gave me one when I was 2 years old, but they denied the one when I was 4. So we had to go to court, actually. And basically, before we even got in the courtroom, they took their case back because they saw me driving around in the lobby and noticed that I was well enough to operate this wheelchair, and that they didn't really have a case. But my parents said that I thought before, leading up to the whole court case and everything, that if I said the wrong thing, they were going to take me to jail. I was so scared that going to court meant that I might go to jail possibly, even though it was just for over my wheelchair. But yeah, thankfully everything worked out, and I obviously got that second wheelchair, but it's just one of the many battles that you have to face being born with a disability or even having a disability and having to navigate the barriers and hurdles that come with growing up and trying to be effective in the journey that you go on, I should say. But yeah, obviously growing up with disabilities is a lot different than the average life, I would say. I feel like you're forced to mature faster than most people are. Just with, like I said, navigating the different hurdles that you have to. Obviously, you don't live the same childhood as the average person. I wasn't really able to go to many friends' houses or certain restaurants that I would want to downtown because I only live like 10 minutes from the city of Harrisburg. And a lot of places downtown aren't very handicap accessible based on them being grandfathered in from ADA laws and everything like that. But I don't know, I feel that I can take all these barriers and challenges as a positive, and I feel like I'm really blessed that I face these things so that I can potentially help people not have to face them in the future. And it's given me a different perspective on life that I'm trying to utilize to help other people and future generations of people like myself. But yeah, back when I was in high school and growing up, I was kind of a quiet kid. I kind of stayed to myself. I didn't really have the confidence that I have now. And the thing that got me out of my comfort zone or forced me to have more confidence was actually going off to college. I was able to go to a local university here, Elizabethtown College, in the fall of 2017. And it only lasted a semester. I actually got sick, really sick in January of that following year. And I got the flu and pneumonia. And I was in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. And by the time I came back with the new semester, I was too far behind and I felt too overwhelmed. So I just ended up finishing my college online. But that 3 months was really a blessing for me. And somehow, miraculously, I was able to have full time coverage. So I had 24-hour care with me at all time for those 4 months that I was at college. And just being able to get away from my parents and having that time away like I never had before really allowed me to open up and come into myself and force me to really. 'Cause I feel like some people don't do certain things until they're forced to, and that was definitely me. Like if I would have said that I was doing a speech like this or talking to people back when I was in high school, I probably would have never done it because I didn't feel comfortable talking in front of people and things of that nature. But yeah, going to college and getting away really forced me to come out of my shell. And I feel like growing up in the situation that I am, it's hard to be like a follower because there's nobody really to follow. Like I have nobody's footsteps or wheel tracks to follow in the sand. So I was kind of forced into being a leader as well, I feel like, because when you can't follow, you gotta lead. So I kind of turned that mindset into endeavors, I guess I would call it. And my first real endeavor was music management, actually. So I guess I can tie into some of you guys here in the group. But in the summer of 2018, after I came home from college and I was living back at home, a few of my friends got into the music business. And I decided to help them out and be their quote unquote manager. I'm not sure if you would call me a manager on a professional level, but on a local level, I was definitely their manager and helped them get their music on Apple Music and Spotify and all those types of things. And then I would get them concerts. We had a few opening shows. Some of the younger people might know a few of the names, but we opened up for Montana of 300, a guy named Young Swag from Wild 'N Out, Annalie Choppa, and then Lil TJ. And we had opening shows for, and they were all over either New York or Philly or New Jersey, DC. And again, connecting with those type of artists and names also forced me to get out of my shell and talk to more people and stuff like that. And that was something I enjoyed. So I feel like once you find something you enjoy, it's a lot easier to grow and develop and really come into your personality. So music management was my first kind of endeavor that I undertook back in 2018. And then in 2020, I felt like I could be doing more with my life than just helping out other people, even though I really enjoyed that as well. So in 2020, I ended up starting my own clothing brand actually called Reflective for Perspective. And it's a clothing brand I came up with based on the idea of printing positive messages on shirts backwards so that when you look in the mirror or take a selfie or something like that, you can see them. So the messages aren't meant for other people to see, but they're meant for you to see whenever you wake up or do your daily affirmations in the mirror or anything like that. They're meant for you to be able to see and read and remember that you're worth it and just the positive mindset. But I came up with the idea or the name Reflective for Perspective. It's like the number four in the middle. But people always ask me how I was always so happy or so positive. And my answer was always it's all about perspective. Like, I feel like, why do I have the right to complain when other people are struggling just as much as me or even more than me? Who am I to complain about my circumstances that I'm in? And that's always kind of just the outlook I had on life. I understand there's things I can't control. So why try to fight the things I can't control? I'd rather just roll with the punches and try to make the best of it and make everybody happy around me. So I tried to really create a brand based off of positivity and just being of the positive mindset and trying to help yourself grow each and every day. But again, even though I felt fulfillment in that, I felt like it wasn't my true purpose, I would say. Like I really enjoyed making shirts and making designs and making people have a more positive mindset, or at least try to. But I don't know, there's something more in life that I felt like I needed to do or that I was called to do. So that's when in late 2021, I started it, but I didn't announce it until 2022. I created my own nonprofit organization called Stairs to Chairs. So number two in the middle. I guess I'm kind of known for putting numbers in the middle of my businesses, but the original idea was to call it the Weston Gehman Foundation. But the more I thought about that, the more I felt selfish and kind of egotistic to name something after myself. Like I don't know, who am I to name something after myself when nobody even really knows who I am? So I came up with the name Stairs to Chairs, basically trying to turn barriers into ramps and different accesses for people with disabilities. So our main mission is simplified, is just to make the world more accessible for all. But we do that through providing handicap accessible renovations to families and businesses at no cost to them. So far, we have had two projects. So on the left there is Sarah, and back in 2023, she reached out to us with the need of a bathroom modification. So basically, her floor was failing because her toilet was leaking, and she wasn't able to transfer from her Hoyer lift onto the toilet safely. So we hired a contractor to come in there and basically repair the floor, as you can see, and basically make it easier and have more independence and safety when transferring onto the toilet. And yeah, they reached out with a need, and basically just through fundraising and online campaign, we were able to raise about $3,000 in 7 weeks, which is truly a blessing. Another main goal that I have with Stairs to Chairs is try to eliminate how much time it takes to get repairs done. Because a lot of times insurance companies take forever to approve different things, and it can take over a year to actually get work done. But we want to be quick and concise, I should say. So they reached out to us, and 7 weeks later, their bathroom was repaired. So really honored to be able to do that. And then the other project was for a little boy named Bennett. up in Rochester, New York. I don't know if I mentioned the first project was in Minnesota, and that's actually where I was born. So it was kind of crazy having the first project come full circle. But this project was last March 2025 out in Rochester, New York. And this little boy here, he wasn't able to access his backyard because they had steps going down onto the deck. So he wasn't able to play with his little brother in the backyard and be back there safely because out front there was a bunch of traffic. So they wanted some sort of ramp or lift on their back porch so that he could go out and play like any normal kid. So we were able to install actually an elevator, basically an outdoor elevator, which was for some reason cheaper than a ramp because we had both quoted out. And he's able to operate himself, so it gives him his independence to go up and down and just be like the little 5-year-old, 4-year-old boy that he should be. And with that project, the lift actually cost $10,000, and we were able to raise that in about 3 months. So I don't want to be prideful, but it's not of my work; it's of everybody that was supporting us and followed along with the journey. But yeah, we were able to put this in from the time they reached out to the time it was installed was about 3 month process. So yeah, I'm just really honored to be able to help other people like myself and try to just assist as many people as I can. And the past few months have been focused on just networking and trying to expand my network. And Alex was one of those people, and you guys obviously as Open Doors, one of those organizations that I found online that I thought would be beneficial to reach out to and connect with, and it has been. And another organization that I connected with over the past couple months has been the Center for Independent Living here in central Pennsylvania. And I had a meeting with them, and basically after the first meeting, they pretty much begged me to join their board of directors. So I'm now on the board of the Center for Independent Living here in Harrisburg. So I'm hoping that that will lead me to more families and more individuals that need help, and that the nonprofit just continues to grow, and I can help as many people eliminate the barriers that they have in their lives that I had to face when I was growing up. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I was telling Alex that I'm an open book, so anything that you guys want to know more about me or the nonprofit, don't hesitate.
Well, Weston, you're stronger than you think. You're a motivator. I love the work that you do and keep on from strength to strength. God bless you and the work that you do for others.
I appreciate it.
And I hope everything can go well for you. Happy.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
I just want to say I commend you definitely for like, not being selfish and just sharing with the world you want to bring to, I mean, from your heart and what and I, to see like, the little kid couldn't play with his brother and you made that happen. And like how you said, like, yo, man, it's just wow. Like, yo, the first time we had somebody from the same place I was born, Minnesota, like, I mean, like that's God showing you, like, it's really, I mean, it's really there, like, and you got something going and like you making people's lives better with that. And I feel you when it comes to like you said, like, the timing as far as how the money was getting raised. But honestly, bro, like I feel like in a matter of time, like it'll be a lot more people just donating. It'll be a lot of people be supporting. I think it'll be a lot more people just like just coming out willing, like, yo, I'm a contractor, I can help. Like either like, yo, I don't need no funds, just pay for the equipment or whatever. And
Right.
anything that could really pitch in, like it would definitely build up and you'll have more people and more things to get done efficiently. Because I understand like that time factor is everything. And I know you want to make sure because it's like we've been through that, we experiencing that. And even with your college history and your management. Those some big ass artists you mentioned.
Right.
Montana 300, especially Annalie Chopper, like he doing big things right now. Like, so that's definitely a great accomplishment, bro. Like for real. And I'm gonna pass the mic on.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it, bro. It means a lot.
So Wes, I'm curious, you know why it costs more for them to build the ramp than the elevator? Like, that's surprising to me
Uh,
also.
I know, right? I thought the same thing. So basically, they wanted to make it ADA compliant because he uses a power wheelchair, but also a manual chair. So the deck was so high, I think it was about 30 inches high. So ADA compliant is 1 foot of ramp for every inch of height. So basically, they needed a 30-foot ramp, which would have been really long.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, just the cost of the metal and everything for the 30-foot ramp. It was almost the same price. It was like a few $100s more. The lift was like 10,200 and the ramp would have been like 10,700 or something like that. But they preferred the lift actually because they live up in New York and they get lots of snow. So they're like, every time it snows, we don't want to have to clean off a 30-foot ramp every time. So they actually preferred the lift anyway. So it kind of worked out.
Gotcha.
I was just thinking if that was a ramp and you had to do that, that would have gone around the house. You know,
I
just
know, right?
that'd be crazy ramp.
Yeah, 30-foot ramp. They would have had to put, there would have been like two L's. So you would have had to make like two different turns to go down the ramp, kind of like commercial buildings that have twisty, turny ramps. It would have been like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see where the next project might be and the next family might be able to help out. But honestly, I've just been focusing on trying to, like I said, meet new people, try to find some grant funding, which Alex has helped me out with too, and just trying to find more consistent income for people that are in need.
I follow a group that does similar things. They call it Ramp. They're on TikTok, and they go around like they are a non-profit group. They help with people get into their houses and stuff. I just wish like something was like that was like going on when I had my injury back in '95, because I had a person that was a contractor and had a lot of construction people that knew me that worked on my house, because there would have been a lot of money because of the fact that my apartment was like a daylight basement in the cellar. So they had to dig out and do all kinds of construction and stuff. So it was a lot of work.
Hi, Wes.
And
Do you also follow up with your clients in terms of like maintenance if something were to go wrong with the lift, for example? Is that something that you do as well for your clients?
yes, we could, but so all that stuff is outsourced. So the contractor that put it in kind of takes on that liability. We're basically just the people that pay for it and the middleman that connects them with the contractor and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, if they have a problem, they can reach back out and we can try to work with them in any way that they need. But yeah, that thankfully that liability goes on to the contractor that put in the modification.
Do you have specific contractors you work with, or do you just have to find them on your own? Like, I was just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. So right now, so like I said, our first project was in Minnesota, and the second one in New York. So
Yeah.
basically, we just find the contractors in the area and send a couple out to get different quotes and see how they're feeling about certain contractors, if they prefer one over the other, and just go from there. We do have a contractor that we are in contact with here in Harrisburg, but there's been no projects here yet. So we just go wherever the inquiries go.
Yeah. Do you happen to find any nice people that do a lot of things for free, or no?
Like the installation and stuff like that.
Doing the actual work,
Uh,
you get volunteer their time.
so we haven't experienced that so far, and they haven't given us any deals or anything like that. But I mean, we don't want handouts anyway, so we're fine with paying the full price and paying
Yeah.
whatever they need to get the project done and to make it the best that they're able to.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice though. It would be nice, but not yet. But I guess the next thing that we're getting ready for here is in less than 2 weeks, we have our annual bowling fundraiser. Bowling is one thing that I'm able to do with my chair. Basically, just put the ball on the ground and I'm able to push it down the lane. So we do an annual bowling fundraiser at the local alley here. So we're just getting ready for that. It's our fourth annual bowling fundraiser, and we're excited because we got shirts this year. So I actually have a big box of 60 some shirts that we just got in that we're going to give to everybody. We're excited for that, but just been preparing with different things that go into sponsorships and all that with the event. But we're looking forward to it, and it usually brings in some good money that helps us build up a little bit of an account for when people do reach out. We don't have to fundraise as much as we normally would have to if we already have some fundraise from the events and all that. So
That's one thing I haven't tried yet.
bowling, yeah, I enjoy some bowling.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing all of that. And also, you're just a wonderful storyteller, I think. Like, I felt like I was kind of watching you grow up, and the way you described it too, that you are, in a way, a trailblazer, right? Because there was nobody that you could look up to and follow. And I think we take that for granted, those who do have role models or even people that can help guide you. But yeah, I found that very, very fascinating, the way that you explained it, so vivid. I could really see. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. It makes me think of actually when I was a kid, I was big into award shows and all that stuff. I watched Grammys. I've always been a fan of music and all that. And I don't know how I was gonna make it happen, but I was like, I'm gonna be the one that forces them to put a ramp on the front of that Grammy.
Yeah, as
Like,
you should,
there's no way for me to get up there. And I feel like other people might think that when they look at it as well. Like it's just a barrier. It feels like you can't achieve that goal. But I want somebody to be that person to force them to put a ramp on the front of that stage where the steps are, so other people see like you really can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though, like you said, with ADA, some is grandfathered in, right? Depending on how old the architecture is.
Right.
Yeah, even to going to the university here, like West Campus, which is referred to as these it's a big part of Cornell that is just gorgeous, but that is not accessible in the very least. So yeah, like thinking of now all the different spaces that we don't really criticize, at least not enough people do, I think, with saying, hey, is it accessible? Hey, should there be a ramp here? And they invest so much money in alterations and modifications to make sure that it doesn't decay. But in that, I think there's also a way to integrate, right? Like how we structure the world around us, so that it's accessible to all. So yeah, no, thank you so much again for sharing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's a lot of historical districts and stuff like that that protect the history of buildings. So we've ran into that in Harrisburg and all that. You have to go through a board of the historical district and get approval, and there's a whole bunch of barriers that they put up before you can modify a quote unquote historical building. So those are the big time goals, break down barriers like that and try to really make old public spaces more handicap accessible, like you said. So yeah, one step at a time though.
So much politics, right? As well.
Yeah.
I just love to say this one little thing. I also like your quote story that when they saw how much you were twirling around in the chair, they just story. I love that story. Good for you. See, you were a fighter from the beginning.
I was born into it, naturally blessed.
Yeah.
Very, very ambitious, and I'm sure we're going to see you on the Grammys.
I don't know about that. I can't make music. I'll be with people that can make music, but maybe they'll force them to put it in on behalf of myself or something.
One thing I'm just curious about, like, what do you feel like is the biggest lesson you learned founding a nonprofit? Because, like, I do the nonprofit thing too, but I didn't found this organization by any means, right? I kind of just like took a leadership position at its current scale. I feel like that's like a totally different skill set than starting something from the ground up. Like, I'm curious, like, what's some advice you give to someone trying to start something, and then also just like something you learned doing that, you know?
Um, yeah, I guess I mean I can answer your question kind of in one whole statement, but I'd probably say just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Like I didn't know how to find a nonprofit, but I figured it out. And I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I'll find out eventually, I guess. It's just going after it. So yeah, I guess just the attitude that if you really love something and like I really found my purpose, like I know in my heart this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And if you know that, then you'll figure out the rest along the way. Just trust that this is what you're supposed to do and everything else will fall into place, I believe. So basically, yeah, just learning as you go and being okay with not knowing something and trying to surround yourself with people that might be able to help or know more than you.
I want to say this too, like you definitely proved a lot of people wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like all those, like like since the beginning, like you show people like no matter what your situation is, you will make it. You know what I'm saying? And especially during the time of birth and everything, and the love that your parents get, everything that you experience, and the doctor saying that shit, like
Mm-hmm.
it just everything was just total opposite of that. And like you said, it's all the perspective. You're strong enough to show like the challenge of what you is. I'm ready to face it. I got this. And we need more men like you. We need more women like Daniel. Like just having y'all faces present out here in the world. I'm gonna tell you, it gives a lot of people with disabilities hope and faith to where it's like, yo, I can make it. I can make it somehow.
Right.
Whether going to school, whether doing this, like, and because I'm telling you, like, a lot of people I come across, and it's the same thing with me. Yo, you got a good mind, you got a good perspective, your attitude, and and they might be going through things, and it's just they don't see the real strength of like, yo, all right, they just think, oh, I got an accident, or I'm born this way, like life is over, or whatever, like, or it's just like,
Right.
although we still got these hurdles, exactly, we got to still go through and still fight,
Mm-hmm.
all of us. But it just still show like a faith like yo man like he made it. I could make it too. Like, and I'm glad to see that. Like, I'm glad to see she made like all of that. Like, is a big play because, like I said, people just it's just lost. Like, and you just give a sense of peace to that. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. I know it's cliche, but your mind is extremely powerful. And people don't realize how powerful your mind is. So once you can really be in tune with your mind and really focus, it changes everything, really.
There used to be a commercial on TV. I think it was by the NAACP where they said that a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Mm,
And I totally believe that too.
for sure.
Like you said, put your mind to it, you can do anything. I think we all have that superpower. We don't know about it.
For sure. Again, I appreciate you guys welcoming me. Whoa, that was hard. Into the family that you guys have. I really feel like you guys are tight knit, and it's an honor that I can talk to you guys for a little bit.
Weston, it's been a pleasure having you here, man. We're here every Friday. You don't need an invitation. You can just stop by, Friday, you don't have nothing to do. You just want to hang out, join the conversation, you're more than welcome to come.
Thank you, Weston.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
No problem.